Welcome back, addicts, to another golf ball review. We are continuing the Snell line, and we wrap it up with their new 2024 lineup with the Snell 4.0. Let's dive in. All right, so to catch you up to speed, Snell had an amazing 2023. They did a whole rebrand. They changed their logo. They came out with the new MTB Prime and Prime X. Now they've, of course, come out with a little bit of a change to the rebrand. They've done the 2.0, the 3.0, and the 4.0. We, of course, first started off by reviewing the 2.0, which was the two-piece urethane, the 3.0, which was the three-piece urethane, and now we have moved into the last more for fast swinger model that Snell is offering, the 4.0, which, of course, is their four-piece model. So essentially the way, Snell is advertising their golf balls this year is they're really buying into the whole 7-iron thing. How far you hit your 7-iron is going to be dependent on which ball you use, which is cool. I mean, I definitely trust Dean Snell if that's how he thinks it should be done, but I will say that it's a little weird to see, if you hit 125 yards or less, that's the 2.0 is what it recommends. If you hit it anywhere between 125 and 175 or something like that, I'll put it here on the screen, that means that you should play the regular, and then if you hit it over the 3.0, excuse me, and then if you hit over 275, then that's the 4.0. That's a really big genre in the middle there. I, of course, hit my 7-iron around 155 at this point. 150 is kind of the normal, but since upping my swing speed, 155, somewhere in there. So I actually should fall right in the middle of what that 3.0 should be, but we test all golf balls on this channel, so I'm still going to test the 4.0, even though technically, according to the website, it's not for my swing speed. This should be, like most four-piece golf balls, it should be firmer, clickier, for faster swing speeds, be able to bend it a little bit more, probably a lower launch angle, things like that. So we will test that to see. First of all, let's get into the price point still. Look, Snell's kept it awesome. It's one of my favorite things about Snell's, their price point. $33 a dozen is incredible for a urethane golf ball of this level. I've talked about it on the other reviews. If you haven't seen them, I'll spare it to you this time. But I love what they've done as far as being direct to consumer and keeping that pricing. It's incredible. Also note that if you purchase them in bulk as the same as the 3.0, you get it for these prices. You can actually get them for $29.99 a dozen if you buy 5 or more. So it just becomes an even better, more amazing deal, especially when you consider you're getting a ball made by Dean Snell, arguably one of the best to ever do it. All right, so let's dive into the design of the golf ball. I've talked about it a bunch so far. If you haven't seen, I'll spare you. But I love Snell's redesign. I love their logo. This one actually has the red number, just like the 2.0. So the 2.0 has a red number. The 3.0 is all black, and then now the 4.0 has the red number again. I kind of wish they'd have made them a little different, just because now, if you have someone, you're playing with a 2.0 with your partner and they have a 4.0, I know that's kind of a rare occurrence, but it's going to be the same. And even like me, I'm reviewing them and I have them all over the place, and I'll pick one up and go, this is my 4.0, and I'm like, no, it's a 2.0. Or, oh, where's my 2.0? Oh, make them a different color. There's not only two colors, black and red. You can make them a different color, but that's small. That's small. Again, great coating of urethane. Feels really good. Design-wise, it really checks all boxes. I have nothing, and I love what they've done with the alignment tool there, as you can see on the sides. The two lines. It's not in your face. It's not abundant like the Tour Stripe is, or like a 360 line, but it gets the job done. It's definitely better than just putting Prime and not having those lines. Those lines really help. So checks all the boxes there. Let's go ahead and get out to the chipping and putting green, and let's see if we can get any more spin now that we have a 4-piece. All right, Snell 4.0. I expect these to actually be a little clickier, compared to the 3.0 and the 2.0. Let's see. Okay, so not super spinny. It was a little mishit, but it had a good amount of spin here. Oh, that was a good hit. Oh, really good checkup. Actually, really forgiving. I like that a lot. And let's check here. A little bladey. Oh, yeah, just too much. It didn't spin. All right, so 4.0, we'll do the putting motion now. Just try to get some good strikes. See if it'll really... Oh, come on. Give me a break. All right, really good strike there. Boy, I'm just not getting a lot of checkup. Just not getting a lot of checkup. Get in there. Wow. Wow. All right, so I don't know what to expect anymore. The 2.0 and the 3.0 with the mallet putter both felt really squishy, you know, no feedback almost, just very minimal. Let's see what we got here. Oh my goodness, wow. I am so surprised, guys. I mean, unbelievable. Good distance there, just not right angle. Let's see if we can get another one. Be the one. No, it's a little right, isn't it? And a little short. Boy, it feels a lot like the 3.0. Maybe just like a hair. Yeah, maybe a hair with the mallet, or I'm sorry, the blade. I have a blade putter now. Maybe a slightly higher click with the blade, but boy, it's just so close. That was dead. I mean, all right, fair enough. All right, so with the Snell 4.0, I'm at a loss for words. I don't know what to think. I expect a 4-piece golf ball to usually be very firm, very clicky, very traditional. Not the case here. When it came off the wedge, it felt exactly like the 3.0. The other thing that surprised me is not as much spin as the 3.0. It actually released pretty firm, pretty true. There was a lot more forgiveness than the 3.0. Now, granted, with 4 layers, sometimes the case is you have to be a little farther out. If I was maybe 30 yards out and was pitching into the green, I bet that this would probably have a little bit more backside spin, but that's not the case here. I'm just simply testing it around the green, and with those little chips and using the shoulders and using a putting motion, I'm just not getting that same you know, backspin release like I was getting with the 3.0. And you know what? I would even say with the 2.0, this golf ball really had the most forgiving release out of all 3 models, which is weird for a 4.0. The other thing that surprised me is when I moved to the putter, you know, the 2.0 and the 3.0 had the same feel with the mallet putter. I expected this one to be firm, clicky, loud. Not the case. It feels exactly to a T the same with the mallet putter as it did with the 3.0 and the 2.0. Now, granted, when I moved to the blade putter, it did feel maybe just this much more clickier than the 3.0, and the 3.0 was just this much clickier than the 2.0. But all these golf balls are really in the same realm as far as how they feel, how they come off the putter. Super springy, super bouncy ball effect. I barely have to come back and the ball just rolls forever. It almost, I don't want to say hinders the golf ball, but it is weird because coming from a guy like me who really loves a traditional style feel around the greens, I love that click, I love that feedback, I love that true roll. None of these golf balls, whether the 2.0, 3.0, or 4.0, all did that. They were more of a more modern style feel, which is maybe what Snell's trying to do. It's not a bad thing, it's just different. Snell has always been traditional. Snell has always been tour feeling. Now it feels a little bit more modern, and it's definitely just different. I mean, it's just different. So if you're someone coming into this 4.0 model and you're thinking, well, I want that true traditional feel, I want to click, I want to hear it, I want to have that true roll, you're not going to get that here. This is more modern. You're going to barely come back and hit it, and it's going to bounce off like a bouncy club. Now, or a bouncy ball, excuse me. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like the golf ball springs off so hard and has the chug effect. There's no chug effect here. It doesn't chug off and then kind of roll. It rolls smooth and true, but it's so springy. I barely have to come back, and it feels like it's going 10, 15, 20 feet. It's just different than any other Snell ball I've ever played, and maybe that's not a bad thing. All right, so real quick, I do want to talk about the feel across all clubs with this golf ball. The 2.0 was very soft, dead, squishy, minimal feedback. The 3.0 was soft, a little bit squishy, a little bit of bouncy ball effect, but really for the most part, it was pretty subdued. It was not a clicky golf ball at all. They had taken a lot of that traditional tour feel away and made it more modern, made it more springy and fun to hit, and boy, the numbers reflected that. This one, surprising enough, is still pretty close to that. Now, it is firmer. It does feel a little firmer, but again, when you play a Snell golf ball in the past, especially the Prime X model, and before that I think it was the black, those golf balls had a really firm traditional style feel to where you mishit it, it kind of shook your hands a little bit, which is, you know, how most golf balls were 2000s, 90s, things like that. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Some people still prefer that feel. It's just we've kind of changed it a little bit. We've gone more with a type of bouncy ball feel where you hit it, it springs off the club, it just comes off like a rocket, and it feels good. It really puts a smile on your face. This one, again, has all those great characteristics that the 3.0 had. It feels amazing, but it's just slightly clickier. You are going to now notice that click when you hit it right for feedback, and if you do miss hit it, expect to feel it a little. I like it a lot. So let's see how these numbers are. We'll start with the backspin 50-yard pitch, 8,155, and I love to see that. And the main reason I bring that up is because the Snell 3.0 got such a bad number because of the forgiveness. I was mishitting the 3.0, and let's say you don't quite hit the center of the wedge, you hit a little bit on the bottom, or you maybe a little on the toe. I was only getting like 3,000 or 4,000 RPM with it. Not the case here. This one seemed to forgive me, which is interesting. The 4.0s have been doing that the last few times, which isn't normal, but again, they're changing the feel, they're changing the compression, they're making a lot of changes now for 2024, all golf ball makers are, and so maybe that's where that's coming from. But 8,155, it's an excellent number to have, and I'm so glad, because when I got such a low number with the 3.0, I was a little concerned, but that shows right there that if you're someone who really values that backspin, you want to see it rip back to you on 50-yard pitches, this golf ball will do that, which is nice. So let's keep it going with the 9-iron. Let's start, of course, with the smash factor 1.24. That's 0.1 or 0.01, however you want to call it, less than the 3.0. 130.2, 130.4, 100.9, 7,070 on your spin, and a launch angle of 24, which actually was higher than the 3.0 and the 2.0. That's kind of interesting. So those numbers are interesting. First of all, those numbers are great. They're all great across the board. I love that we broke 100-mile-an-hour ball speed again. I love that it went over 130 again. Anytime I hit over 130 average with a 9-iron for me on the channel, that's just incredible. It's still fantastic. It's just slightly less than the 3.0, which makes sense. Again, this is a firmer golf ball. Most of the time with firmer golf balls, short irons just don't do worth a hoot. They just don't, because it's such a firm golf ball and I'm swinging so slow with a wedge because it's so much shorter. I just don't compress it. But this one still was able to get that, which, boy, if that's how golf balls are going to be going forward, the competition is just going to keep getting more tight, and boy, it's going to be a lot funner going forward when I compile these top 10 lists, because I mean, it's tight. I mean, it's really tight. So love that I still got all those amazing numbers with it. Love what I see there. Still great spin. 9-iron, it's going to stick a green, which is awesome. I was surprised it did launch a little higher than the 3.0, just because I expect usually the 4-piece to go a little lower, but not all of them do anymore. Like I said, they're making a lot of changes. So let's get into the 7-iron now, starting with the smash factor 1.35, which is 0.05 more than the 3.0 and as well as the 2.0. So that's interesting. I actually was compressing this golf ball the best out of the 3 Snell balls. Not that they're comparable. I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying that for the sake of showing you the Snell lineup, that's why I'm doing it. 161.5, 163.1, 115.3, which is just incredible across the board. 5,575, low spin. So I did expect that. And then it actually launched directly mid with the launch angle as well. Hard not to be impressed with those numbers. I mean, wow. So there have been I had to look there. There have been very few times, a handful of times, I've ever averaged 160 with any club, or with any ball, excuse me, with my 7-iron. The 4.0, I got 4 more yards than the 3.0. I got 8.5 more yards than the 2.0. That's awesome. So now that the ball is firmer, now that I'm using a mid-iron opposed to a short iron, now we've seen it flip-flop, and we actually have some records there, which is awesome. I love to see that. The ball mile per hour speed is just through the roof. It actually even beats the Vice Pro Plus, which is awesome. That's actually more of a direct comparison that would be good. I just love that. The low spin might bother me a little bit just because it's going so far and it's coming off the club so fast. Not being able to stick it immediately might bother me. I'd have to see how it reacts on the course, but if I can't get it to stop, I might have a few roll them to the back of the green, which would be kind of an eh. But as far as ball speed and distance, wow. Hopefully we keep that going with the 5 hybrid here. 1.38 on the smash factor. Really good, really close to the 3.0, just 0.01 less. 185.5, but I got way more distance. 190.9. Amazing numbers there. 127.3. That ball speed is through the roof, and once again, that's another record. Boy, we just keep setting records on the channel. That's just so fun. 4,419 though. So there's your big thing right there. There's that. 13.9. It actually launched really low. So now here's what happens. And you guys know this, and I talk about it all the time, but I will add a couple details here. When I review golf balls that are four pieces, firmer, higher compression, What usually happens traditionally is short on mid iron, and then once I get to the woods, the 5 hybrid and the driver, they really take off, because at that point I'm swinging hard enough and the clubs are heavy enough, being woods, they compress the golf ball, and I start to see some really exciting pop off the page numbers. A little different here, because now what's happening is, because they're taking these 4.0 golf balls, 4-piece, more firmer ones, the Vice Pro Plus, whatever, 2024, the 4.0, and essentially they're lowering the compression a little bit, making them more soft and squishy and still having bouncy ball effect. What I'm seeing is that the short iron, you lose a little bit. You lose a tiny bit. And then the mid iron, the 7 iron, amazing. It compresses, it's fantastic. It appeals to a bigger crowd, which is awesome. And then now getting into the 5 hybrid, it's just the numbers are popping off the charts. And what I'd also like to put in there is that now you see the ball launching low. Now you see the ball having low spin. And the reason it's doing that is because I'm properly compressing it now that I have my 5 hybrid out. When I had the 9 iron out and it wasn't launching low, it was launching high, and the spin was, it was good, but it wasn't great. That's what's happening because it's not being properly compressed. Whereas now we properly compress it, I get way less spin, and the golf ball starts to show its true colors about who it's for. Not a bad thing, but it's good to see now that it is reacting how it's supposed to. Getting into the driver, 1.43 on the smash factor. So that's the same smash factor I got with the 2.0, which again shows that if the ball is not in the right compression for you, that's what can happen. So the Snell 3.0 was 1.49, and then now 1.43 with both. Looking at the numbers there, you can see 224.4, I got about the same as the 2.0. 233.4, about the same as the 2.0. 141, about the same as the 2.0. 2463, a little higher than the 2.0. And then 14.1, it wanted to launch low. It absolutely wanted to launch low. So again, compressing it, getting what I'm supposed to out of it, but I wasn't compressing it still the best, because as you can see from those numbers, I compressed the 3.0 way better and got way more distance. Driver distance as far as the 3.0 compared to the 4.0, 9-yard gain with the 3.0 compared to the 4.0. It's for faster swingers, and even though now I am getting up to 97, 98 mile per hour with the driver, it's just not really enough to compress this. This is going to be for your 105, your 110 crowd. That's what's going to see the proper 100% results across the board. Now, I didn't have that issue with the Vice Pro Plus. I was able to use it as a 98 swinger, and boy, just everything record-breaking, incredible. All right, before I give you my final closing thoughts, I do want to touch on the durability. If you haven't seen the other 2 reviews, long story short, it holds up for the most part, but there is a glaring issue with these Snell golf balls. In the past, they have had cuts, abrasions. It's kind of like you get a few lemons here and there. But what I've experienced with this new lineup over the last couple golf balls I've tested, the 2.0 and the 3.0, is that they start flaking on the paint. And if you look here and you look close, you'll see there's actually quite a few spots here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oh my goodness, 6. 6 to 7, I mean, almost 10 spots on this golf ball after about 100 shots where the paint is essentially flaking up. My thoughts on this are, I can't trust that it's going to have a true flight path anymore. I can't trust that it's going to roll. And this is actually the worst out of the 3 I've tested. This one's by far the roughest. I can even feel some stuff on there too. So, most of them I've been given like a 6 out of 10. This one's probably a 5 out of 10. It will probably last you around. If you're shooting in the 70s or 80s, 100% this is going to last you around. And at that point, it needs to be tossed out, period. So, does that mean the durability is bad? Not per se, because if you can get through a whole round with it, that's actually pretty good. Some golf balls you only hit 30 times and they're toast. So the golf ball does get through the round. And what I do like is that I'm not seeing any deep abrasion cuts from grooves like I was when I had my lemons from last year. It's better, but there's still some room for improvement, especially when you consider the direct competitor being Vice. Vice's durability was on point. It was 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Really good there. And so I think Snell has made some improvements. I still think they're the second best direct-to-consumer ball, but gosh, it's just a little bit better on that durability and you'll be great. Now I know, I give Snell respect because they've kept the price at $33 a dozen. I know that you keep the price there and you don't increase it, there's going to be some issues. Like you have to sacrifice somewhere. Usually it's durability, so it doesn't make it a deal breaker, but just keep in mind that after a round, you have to toss this. I see some of you on the channel like, oh yeah, I made it to my 4th round. The golf ball's no good anymore at that point. Even after, I mean, even if you get the best durability ball on the market, 2 rounds is max. Once you've hit it that many times, it's lost everything. And I get it. You might look at the ball and go, oh, well, it's still in good condition. It still feels fine. I promise you it's not. I've never seen a golf ball to where I'd feel comfortable after 2 rounds using it. It just isn't that way. So after a round, toss it. All right, so closing thoughts. You know, I love that we've gotten through the Vice line. I love that we've now gotten the new Snell line. It's been so fun. I love the golf ball. I love what it does. It's not for me, though. It's definitely for faster swingers. I love that I was able to get some decent numbers with it, because an issue I had last year is that when I used the X model, the Prime X model for faster swingers for 2023, I ran into an issue where my numbers really weren't good at all. I mean, they were actually less than average. So this year when I was testing the 4.0, I was kind of worried it was going to be the same way. Not the case. There have been tons, out of all the golf balls they've had and they made improvements to, this is the one I'm most impressed with, because I went from basically the golf ball being useless and me saying, hey, I can't use it because it's so firm, I can't even kind of compress it, to, yeah, I mean, if I had to take these out and play them on the course, I can make it work. I mean, it's not 100% toward my game. I mean, it's probably 80, so I mean, I'd have to like understand I'm going to lose 10 yards of distance and stuff. But as far as using irons and wedges and playing with it out on the weekend warrior style, yeah, I can make it work, absolutely. I didn't have that option before. So as far as how it performs with a faster swing speed, I don't know, but it's definitely worth a shot, because again, you have a golf ball that is very competitive on price. You can't beat having it at half the price of the Pro V1, designed by the same guy who designed the Pro V1. I mean, it's just, what are you doing? It checks so many boxes well. It does so many things great. Yeah, it has a couple issues here or there, but I think we forget sometimes. We've been testing so many great golf balls, and I had the top 10, the top 20, you know, a couple months ago. I think we sometimes forget that most golf balls aren't perfect. They're really not. There's always an issue somewhere. It just, when you test the golf balls we've tested this year so far, it's just crazy because we've been so blessed to test so many great ones. I think we forget that they're going to have issues sometimes. This one does have a couple flaws. The durability, it could be better. I wish it was a little bit more consistent on its performance as far as with the 100-mile-an-hour swing speed, but like I said, it's probably just for faster than that. So as far as if you're wondering 3.0 versus 4.0, I actually got to give Snell credit here. I would follow what they say on their website, the whole 7-iron theory. If you hit your 7-iron 175 or more, absolutely, then use the 4.0, because I hit mine, like I said, like 155. That's 15 to 20 yards, depending on the day, shorter than what they anticipate I should be using. And keep in mind, I have a 7-iron that is strongly lofted, 29.5, strongly. Most 7-irons are 34, 36 if they're really traditional. So the fact that I'm actually hitting it 20 yards less and I have it really strongly, you know, lofted, I'm definitely not playing the right ball with the 4.0. It's going to be the 3.0 for the majority of players. But if you do swing 105 to 110 or higher, somewhere in that range, and you do hit your 7-iron 175 yards, definitely give this one a try. It's definitely worth your time. It's definitely worth a shot. And let me know your feedback on it if you do. If you use any of them, let me know how you like them. So, guys, as always, I appreciate it. Keep watching, to keep saving, and keep learning. Until next time.